Hello, good morning everyone. I'm TY, the person in charge of HybridIT track. Yeah, so first of all, welcome every one of you at HybridIT track. So we will soon start the session presented by Kevin Lim. The topic will be securing your connection from home. So for those that are just joining in, welcome to Work from Home 2020. So I would like to share with you some biodata of Mr. Kevin. So he's a veteran of Citrix application and desktop virtualization solution. He is passionate with Microsoft technologies on the area of Azure, Stack HCI, VDI, and RDS solution. Moreover, he also holds an active ISC2 CISSP certification and was a Microsoft MVP on virtual machines for 3 terms. So without further ado, let's welcome Mr. Kevin.
Hi, good morning. Thank you, everyone. Yeah, let me share with you my slides. Yeah, today my topics will be securing your connection working from home. Currently, myself also working from homes, and we has been working from home since the starting of MCO. Working from home is a big challenge for every one of us, and we has been finding ways to adjust to the new normal. How actually we working securely to accessing our company servers and also supporting our customers. So myself actually coming from a system integrator and IT companies, they will provide IT support services and implementation for our customers. So it's very crucial us actually look into how we providing remote access and support services to the customer, and also providing application and desktop access to our users. So today's agendas, I will be typically covers on the 3 areas. One is the new normal for work from home, and second will be using something that out of box Microsoft Remote Access Services. Then the next will be using the built-in feature functionality of a Microsoft RDS to do virtual apps and desktop. And last but not least is we leveraging the other third-party add-on products to Microsoft solution, which is using Citrix virtual apps and desktop to run high-definition application and have more tighter security control. Let's we move on into the topics. Yeah, so thanks to the MC that have briefly introduced about myself. So I'm an infrastructure security consultant that passionate in IT, that doing on Microsoft Azure Stack HCI, VDI, and RDS. So thanks for our sponsors and our event organizers. HP has a wide range of products. And the board offerings of for Azure Stack HCIs, which can be configured with Switless and Intel Optane. So why we sharing this is some of the application servers or VDIs require a massive IOPS. So Azure Stack HCI can provide the ultimate IOPS that requires with the greater input throughputs. So it will enhance users' experience when they run on the VDI. So with the reasons sharing with Satya Nadella, the Microsoft CEO, what they have say that we have seen 2 years of worth of digital transformation in 2 months. With this pandemic of COVID-19, many of us have learned how to adapt the new way of working, the new normal, in a very rapid and fast forward moving manner. Everything we have to adjust and learn in a new way. in order for us to continue to grow and adapt to the new working styles. So world of a remote in everything. So people are looking at productive and even when they are working remotely. So organization are tied to migrating or looking for their business application to digital infrastructures and platform. Some they're moving into the web-based application or hosted on a cloud, or some of that they still want to deliver their application and their servers and their data throughout their on-premise servers. So these will be the topics for us to focus on today. So there are three areas that people want to primarily look at is actually how they actually conduct a powerful meetings and collaborate with and workflow experience with those people working from home. So this is why we look at a lot of things that people using Zooms, using Microsoft Teams actually conduct meetings and collaborate with colleagues. And second, their workers want to actually connect into the corporates to accessing their corporate data, their application, their fast servers. And the IT actually want to make sure everything actually is being providing to the users with the same experience and in a secure manner. So next, the way people works is also changing. Based on the Gartner's reports, the Gartner CFO survey, it reveals about 74% intend to actually shift from some employees to remote work permanently. So based on my personal experience, and this is what I'm seeing, we has been working about close to 3 months plus from home, and we are still practicing working from home, and most of our colleagues are still prefer working from home. And when we go back to our office, whenever there's a necessary to be on-prem, we notice that actually the office buildings in old days, the car park are so difficult to find. But nowadays, we don't have much difficulty to find parking slots. What it means to me is it seems to be a lot of people are start adopting working in a different way, meaning working from home. And actually also want to managing their families. So right now, people are work from home anyway. So there are 31% of the people are work outside the traditional office, and 76% work in 2 or more locations. And work in more locations is about more than 3 locations is about 52%. So we are very dynamic of how the way we work nowadays in a new workforce. However, while providing convenience to the users, but security is a top IT priority. So they want to actually ensure remote access to cloud and on-premise apps is secure. Second, they also want to simplify discovery of apps for users. You want to ensure the user experience good, and they also want to actually providing them a way to actually have a carry out their productive works by collaborate and with their contractors and partners. So we are seeing a lot of partners and contractors nowadays are accessing to our corporate networks, and how actually we do the governance and control. So the security control to protect those assets are very important. We also require to look into the governance, audit trails, and to meet with the compliance. So there's things that we further need to actually extend the data protection to devices, because they are bring your own device, meaning that we can bring our all type of equipment that owned by the employee or the staff or the contractor, which is the corporate have no control in terms of the health status, or is there any malicious application be installed in those devices, or any keyloggers that actually plug into the Windows or Mac desktops that actually try to steal passwords. So those are a lot of things that growing concern that IT actually look in ways to protecting, yet providing a rapid access to the users. So they look at how to actually identities and the devices, what the apps and the infrastructure and the data. So these 5 key areas are very crucial when looking into security providing working from home solution. So to users, they always ask back the same question when I work from home. They will demand and request with the following 3 questions. Can I still access all of my apps and data to perform my jobs? And is everything still work the same way? Is it my end user experience good? Can I still be productive while working remotely? Is it I'm able to load my loadings or accessing my application seamlessly, or I need to go through a lot of hassles or waiting long hours of loading apps? So those are the things that the concern of the users. Next, the IT will look into 3 primary key areas. Can we rapidly deploy an employee access remote access solution? Is our environments actually flexible enough to dynamically respond to your business need? Because this pandemic happens, there are many companies want to help with running in days. Compared to the old days, that it will take months actually to provision a new IT infrastructure, then get things ready. But nowadays, time is rapid deployment become very crucial. The fast response to the business need or the environment change is become the top priority for the IT. So the last, while we do fast, we want to make sure it's the best security and performance and reliability. These 3 key criteria to providing to our users. Those are the crucial things that IT are looking at. So first is we are typically look into a VPN solution. So Microsoft Windows 2019 and since the old days of Windows servers already come with Microsoft Remote Access services feature built in without any additional cost. So you can just turn on your Windows servers and enable with the feature functionality, and you're ready to access and managing your application, providing your users to access their application. So and the users only what they need is just have a Windows desktops, then configure VPN connection without any third-party add-on cost, and this will be very cost-effective, and in fact actually at no additional cost. It's simple to set up for a small SME environment customer. This is to achieve cost savings with a flexibility to scale and grow as you need it. So I will be sharing with you with how actually we turn on a VPN access in a Windows boxes. Then how actually we able to establish the connection. Give me a second. With the interest of time, I have been captured with the screen shows that how actually we turn on remote access services. In this is the roles actually performed through Windows Server Managers that we add 2 roles and features wizards. So first we click on the remote access, then the next we click next. Then he will start to perform the installation. After a while, the installation is successful. Then we will enable with the roles is direct access and VPN RAS. Then we have 3 options to deploy. With both direct access and VPN. This is direct access is actually providing a seamless connections for Windows 10 machine, but this requires a Windows Enterprise Edition license. Compared to a deployed VPN, you can use a legacy Windows actually establish a VPN connection. The strong recommendation is you deploy with the direct access. Direct access require more additional configuration steps. But in this demo, I'm actually focused on the quick deployment on using Microsoft VPN configuration. So once you enable it, then you click configure and enable routing and remote access. Then you through the wizards, you select the configuration, remote access, dial out of VPN. So this allows the VPN connections back to the corporate. The configuration is completed. Yeah, it sounds wonderful, and it's a very simple step that actually providing a VPN access instantly with a few mouse click. Then on the client side, actually we're providing configure two network and sharings on the control panels. Then the next you choose a connection options, connect to a workspace. Then the next steps you do is actually use my internet connection VPN to establish a connection. So what it means is your homes, you already have existing Wi-Fi that connect to your broadband routers. So we can make use of this connection to establish VPN connection directly. Second is options, the setting actually, if assuming in old days that you have a 4G, you have a dial out modems that you will dial directly. So that is
actually. Kevin.
Yes.
Kevin, this Noel. You are not in slideshow mode, are you?
Yeah, I'm in a slideshow mode.
Doesn't look like it.
Can see again? Let me try
to. No, doesn't look like you're in slideshow mode. I think maybe it's your slideshow setting. It's not coming out in slideshow mode on the projected screen to all of us.
Can see again?
Yeah, not in slideshow mode. I think it's yeah, now you are.
Okay, I noticed that sometimes there's Teams have this problem. Have to
okay.
Stop sharing, then connect back.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks for notifying me. So let me try to go back to the slides. So we will run through a quick one. So this is the first steps when we enable the remote access to the server manager, as I shared earlier. So then the installation process will take place. Next, we will select the roles and services to point to the direct access and VPN RAS access. Then the third steps, we select the deploy VPN only. So this is the quickest ways and the simplest ways to deploy a VPN access. But if let's say we have more, you require more security control and more simple access, you can enable with the direct access and VPN configuration. So direct access providing the seamless connection for Windows 10 enterprise computers. Then the next steps where we enable with the deploy VPN modes, which is the focus of us, how quickly we can turn on the VPN modes to establish a VPN connection. So we select the configure and enable routing and remote access. So next we select the configuration with the remote access using the dial out of VPN. Then with these clicks, we are done with the configuration. So on the client side, meaning a Windows 7, Windows 10, or old day legacy XP machines, which is some SMB environments still have old machines, which is they are in the map of migrating to a new OS on Windows 10. You can configure with the VPN connections with connect to a workspace. This task is performed through control panel, network, and sharings. So these will have two options when we run through the wizards when you connect to a workspace. So first actually is to use my internet connection to writing on top of your existing broadband lines or existing internet 4G lines, for example. The other ways actually you do dial to a modem. Next, we configure the IP address or the FQDN name of your servers. In this case, our VPN servers. Then we establish the connection. So after that, we establish the connection, we are ready. So let me do a quick demo to you. From here, Server Manager, we can launch the remote access services, remote access management, and the routing in remote access, which is the console that actually will be launched. And this is remote access management console. The configurations, it looks very interesting to us, and it is very simple. So when we click the open our RAS management, this is the console that we'll be seeing. And over here are the dashboard that we're seeing all what are the activities, the number of users have established connections. And over here also give you a dashboard about the operations status, whether the service is running properly, then the number of machines that is established a connection and how long and what kind of bandwidth consumption being established. Then there's a built-in report that built-in that can be generating through the reports. So let me show you the configurations. So the configurations is it will be pretty much very simple for most of people to actually quickly deploy and rolling out. So here are the more feature functionality that can be setting out. I just do a quick run through as with the interest of the time. Then the next I will be established and connecting as a users. Give me a second.
Kevin.
Yeah.
I think your your virtual machines have stage fright. Maybe you just want to move on.
Sure, will do.
Yeah, just go. Yeah, just keep moving. Otherwise, you run out of time. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. So just a quick so the end will be established a VPN connection, and the users will be able to start to actually access as a normal as they connecting to the corporate network, even they're working from home. That is, users' experience will be seamless. Okay, let me move on to the next section. Okay, so the next is we look into different ways actually providing a better connecting different mode of users accessing to their corporate networks. So Microsoft Windows Server 2019 have a feature functionality that actually enable with the RDS connection. So perhaps some of you may ask, can I just probably enable my remote desktop, the RTP on my servers, then start to providing people to accessing to my servers? If let's say you just enable the RTP to your firewalls, the connections, if not protected through SSL or HTTPS, the connections actually can be easily broken by the attackers with the exploit the vulnerability. So with Microsoft Remote Desktop Services, we can deliver with the section-based computing, or it can be delivered as a virtual desktop infrastructure, meaning that section-based computing we can deliver just like apps models, or you can be delivered as a desktop. So what you need actually with the Microsoft Remote Desktop Services licenses they added in, then this is providing the benefit that it's easy to access the application and data and still maintain data and security in their servers. What it means is all the processing powers when they are running application or desktops, all the processing powers actually is running on the backend servers. Okay, and this is why we are looking into the cutting edge Azure Stack HCI to provide a massive throughputs of IOPS. So the second benefit actually is provide the flexibility and reliability for the most demanding needs of the users. The third, it will providing a central management and deployment of the business data and application. So why is this very important that we look into the RDS with the application and the virtual desktops? Because the virtual desktop sometimes we may require to actually to providing a dedicated desktop to the users, meaning Windows 10 machines with 4 GB memories with 2 vCPU, and we want to gather about 50 users. So that kind of IOPS and the memory consumptions, we can leverage on the out-of-the-box features that built on the Windows Server 2019 that enable with Azure Stack HCI to provide a robust connections with the throughput with the solution. So the solutions also providing high availability and also DR with a live migration, the load balancing and Hyper-V replica for and storage replica to the remote location. And why people are looking into the application and desktop virtualization? The key index of the people adopting to application and desktop virtualization because of one of the primary reasons is because of security. Because typically a VPN connections, regardless of you using Microsoft remote access services or you using your firewall VPN feature functionality that enable, you have a problem actually is providing a split tunneling. Split tunneling means that once the user establishes a VPN connection, when they access corporate data or corporate servers, they will go to the VPN tunnels. But when the users are browsing a website, let's say go to YouTube or go to third-party websites, then the traffic will not go to the VPN. But this providing a greater performance when the user establishes a VPN connection. But this introduce a problem is the attackers can possible get hiding by or hijacking the sections and take control of the staff or the contactor computers. Then they hiding through the VPN connection, gain access to the corporate networks. And it make things worse is the contractor machines, sometimes their machines is there's an unknown health status and the machines is unmanaged. So it could be infected with the ransomware. And that will be once they establish connection into corporate networks, the virus or the ransomware will start propagate to entire networks. I personally have seen a few customers, then they was infected in this way to the entire network with the WannaCry virus to the VPN connection. And the users, once they establish a VPN connection, because a VPN typically will be forwarding all the broadcast or noise traffics, and this actually require high bandwidth consumption. In results, actually the user experience it become very poor, because then sometimes they want to run a Microsoft Dynamics or SAP or any business application, which is very resource hungry in terms of bandwidth. It will start to feel the slowness. Then once the users actually gaining access to their corporate networks, they start to have an unrestricted access. They can do anything they want, and they can launch and they can copy out in file. So that's impose of the insider threats. You don't know what are the things that are happening, and that will be a data thief that is stolen the corporate data. The VDI use case that people, the VDI and application use case is people are looking at the primary 4 areas. One actually is internal security and regulations for financial, healthcare, or government. Even some companies are also strictly follow with ITSM or ISO standards. Actually want to make sure they are security. And we also seeing there more and more SMB customer also want to make sure their security is in control, because digital asset data is crucial to the company. It's a lifeblood. Then second things are people are looking at the elastic workforce, the mergers and acquisition of the company, and the short-term employee access, contractor and partner access. Compared to the old days that people need to be physically present in a corporate when they're accessing to the system. But now a lot of people want to accessing to a remote location. Then the third is actually the employees want to have a different form of accessing, bring your own device or using their mobile devices, with those devices belonging to the individuals. The environments like call center and branch workers. Then the last but not least, there are some special workloads environment. Let's say some engineering or exploration requires specific application which cannot run on a regular desktop. They will leverage running on the corporate servers like AutoCAD, that kind of application, and which require high specs of hardware. So those are the use cases that when people come into using the VDS solution. So in Microsoft RDS Windows Server 2019, there are components of the RDS have divided in 3 key areas. One on the left hand side, which is you can see is the RD clients. The RD client actually support multiple type of client, it cross-platform. It also support HTML5, meaning you can use a browser-based clientless access to launch and run any Windows application that deliver through the RDS section. So it also available in the mobile devices like Android, mobile or iOS device, or any Windows across platform. So once they establish the connection, they will be accessing to a RD infrastructure. So RD infrastructure, there will be a component called RD Web. So RD Web is actually providing a web front end for people to log in. Then the RD virtualization host actually providing the hosting of the virtual desktop. The RD gateway and providing the connections back to the backend to the RD broker. The RD broker actually providing the connections which desktop or application to be providing access to the users. For in the high availability environment, we can deploy together with the Microsoft SQL Server database to providing load balance and high availability. all the connections when the users connecting to will be authenticated to Microsoft Active Directory. Then the last but not least is the all this section host and Win10, so that application or desktop Windows 10 desktop will be able to deliver to the users. So the users will, once they accessing to their apps and the desktop, they can accessing to their fast servers or their application. And this is what you requires actually is additional license of RDS license when you enable with the feature functionality to providing your user access. So and often there's a question that asks, what type of solution should I run? It seems there are two modes that you can run: a Windows desktop, VDI, or remote apps. So we put it in a simple way of comparing. Look at the properties types of landed and high-rise building. As we know that landed properties, the cost of maintenance and the cost of purchase or acquisition of the landed property is very high. It's same thing for Windows desktop VDI. So in Windows desktop VDI is providing a desktop virtualization. It provides an entire desktop to the users. It means that desktops require a high capacity of memory, let's say 4 GB memory and 2 vCPU. And one unit of server with 256 GB memory, it only can cater about 50 to 60 virtual machine. And the cost also will be high, and internal maintenance is high as well. So compared to the remote apps, which is an application virtualization, is similar like high-rise building, staying in a condominium. That actually you have a low cost maintenance because it's being shared by multiple tenants. And so in results, we require very low hardware specs of the servers, perhaps a 32 GB memory of VMs to cater for 30-50 users, depending on the application loads that you're putting into the server. And the licenses they require is Microsoft RDS license. So the ratios between the landed and high-rise buildings is 1 to 1, which is the density of the landed, 1 household for 1 landed property. But for high-rise buildings, the densities will be high. Its users is 1 to many, meaning one buildings it can have multiple tenants that actually staying in there, and often we see hundreds of thousands in a condominiums environment. So let me do a quick demonstrations on showing you about the remote desktops solution. These to simulate a computers can be coming from any type of browsers that are accessing to the farm. So first I putting in the passwords on the browser. Once we enter the passwords, we're able to launch the application. So it can be appear as an application mode, or you can be a desktop. First, I will open our PowerPoint. So you can see the sections. Are securing to a HTTPS connection, meaning this entire section, when the user entire connecting through the user credential and passwords and all the application being traveled in between are all fully encrypted. So we open a desktops, then we launch a PowerPoint, and we can start to do anything. As usual, we can do our normal functionalities. Examples, we try to save the documents. So we have an option to actually to store locally, or we can be transfer the data to a redirected drive and folders, meaning the redirected drive and folders is the my endpoint computers that I'm using. We are able to transfer out the data. So I can transfer in the data, or I can save as a user, save it on desktop. This is how seamlessly actually we are creating using the application modes to deliver. Okay, the next we look at the desktop. So this, because just now I'm logging as an application mode, and this section actually follow to me. Okay, we can perform all the tasks. So this is actually the users will be on entire desktop, so I can save all the file that in the different way. So just on the application virtualization, that the first demo that I show it to you, actually will be in the shape, and all the data are stored on the server. But for these ones, when saved, all the data will be saved in the local desktop. And you can see this one actually is running a Windows 10 machines, and the full desktop modes have been delivered. Okay, so this is on the desktop virtualization on the client side. Next, we look at on the server side. So managing the ODS, the ODS sections, we are using the server managers, and over here there are tools and functionalities actually we are using to managing the section. And we are over here. Let me zoom it. There will be a number of roles and infrastructures, the deployment overview that we have an RD web, the providing the connections and the gateways. Then we will be controlled with the ODS licensing. Once the user establishes connection, the connection brokers will point to which are the servers or the desktops to launch. from here are the steps actually we publishing an application. So the remote apps, how it does is actually we install an application, let's say Microsoft Office, our favorite application or business application, the line of business application into the servers. Then we selecting through the wizards what type of the application we want to publish. For example, over here we have multiple. We can select, or we can click to the folders to allocate the file or the executive involves to present to the users, to deliver to the users. So this is how the simplest way of publishing an application. So after a while, the application being published, so it is showing that the access 2016 and Firefox, the Fox readers are published. And we can see the application has been published over here. So these are the steps actually rapidly deploys application roll out to the users. So in old days, we probably leverage a lot of tools, software distribution tools like SCCMs or to deliver apps. But with this dynamics, people are looking at the rapid way of deploying new apps. We can instantly deploy a new application to the users, and with the users can access the application within a minute. It's similar like today's we subscribe to some broadcast system. Let's say in Malaysia we're using subscribe to the Astro. So we want to watch a sport channels, we just call to the customer service, or we enable it through a subscribe on our remote control. So the news TV channels or sport channels will automatically deliver to us without the technicians being come over here to implement. So the same things in today's IT doesn't require to deploy application individually on all desktop and support individually. What they do is actually do in the central location, updates and patchings, or publishing a new apps or old apps. This is how rapidly deploy application in the quickest and faster manner. Besides apps, we also can deploy in a desktop. We can deploy a 10,000 desktop or 10,000 application within a minute to make accessible to the users. Okay, this is on the VDIs and remote apps on Microsoft RDS. Next, I will share with you. There's an advanced feature functionality that coming from Citrix, which is with the years of working relationship with Microsoft that actually developing, extending the advanced feature functionality of Microsoft RDS feature. So this will be providing more enhancement with the users' experience, allow them to access anytime, anywhere, and with any type of devices. And second things, they actually provide more security control and superior user performance, and greater with the 3D and high definition application use. So again, the RDS or VDI solutions will run perfectly and ideally workloads on the Azure Stack HCI because of providing a massive throughputs into IOPS, into managing, and important is achieving cost saving. So with the Citrix virtual apps and desktop solution, it providing more comprehensive end-to-end that allows the mobile optimization, single sign-on, two-factor authentication with load balancers, reverse proxy, and many advanced features that integrating multiple web-based application, enterprise application, and cloud-based application mobile apps. So that is things that CTIX have enhanced or added into the Microsoft ODS and Windows Virtual Desktop solution. So in the typically here are the three key areas that people are looking at is actually on the security, users experience, and management when they are adopting to the CTIX solution. So I will do a quick demo to demonstrate to you how people are using the CTIX and what the user experience. First, I will be similarly, I will be accessing to a browser. And you may notice that there's a option over there called password. This password actually allows us to enable two-factor authentication. So the two-factor authentication can be using Microsoft Azure Authenticator or Google Authenticator or any third-party proprietary or open source authentication tools. So over here you can see my mobile phone, and this is my one-time password. So the one-time password is similar to our bank's account software, our bank's application when we want to transfer some money. I may facing some problem. Let me show you the things I have pre-recorded the videos. Yeah, first I'll be logging in, then register my device with a two-factor authentication. So I will be enabled with the two-factor authentication authenticator on my Google.
Kevin?
Yeah.
You have 3 minutes. 2
Yes.
minutes actually. And after that, we need to switch over. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. So this is a screen just now that we have seen, and now I'm looking with the two-factor authentications, and I was able to see my screens, which is similar to the ODS, that we allows us to actually launch in the business application, and that's the desktop. This is how the business application being launched, and let me share with you another. This is how we actually runs a high definition application.
Okay, I think we're out of time.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you.
Thank you. Back to MC. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you very much, Kevin, for the sharing. I hope everyone attendees here do gain some insights from it. There are many demos shown, and if you like the session, you can give a thumbs up. You can share your